L'chaim, everyone. I'm just in the middle of my arak, so l'chaim. What we call it mahya. Mahya, you know what is mahya? Any of you Moroccan over here? What is mahya? Ma'im chayim, it says give you life, you know. But I got also the water with the pieces of aloe vera over here, whatever it is. If it's fake or it's real, I feel like you're on vacation right now. Wow. Daniel, I think I will join the Sunday Shabbos and breakfast, but I will come only for the breakfast, I think. Just making sure, you know, at least to participate in a way. So, first I'm happy to be here. Thank you everyone for making it happen. I see that there was some switch over here, right to left, left to right. Very interesting, and we say always Meshane Makom, Meshane Mazal. What it means? When you change your place, you change your luck. Why? Why when you change your place, you change your life? What's the connection? Seems like the opposite. When you change your place, it's becoming more difficult. You know, the Holy Arizal is telling us that each one of us needs to go through his life something that's called Gilgulim. You heard about Gilgul? It means that the neshama comes again to this world, reincarnation basically, in a different body. It's an interesting concept. And he said that if someone relocates from one place to another, it's like Gilgul. So if you came from New York to Miami, from Israel to Miami, or you went from Miami to another place, it's a new beginning. Even if you move apartment, you move house, it's a new beginning. A very interesting concept. So we say Meshane Makom, Meshane Mazal. Why? Because maybe you're able to change something. And I actually want to talk about it today. First, because talking to lots of people lately, it's the summer and you get the heat. People trying to find out what's going to happen next year with business, learning, relationship. There's lots of questions. Even people that are married, what's going to happen with the kids. I had this week a few meetings with families who are moving in from New York after, you know, maybe they're going to have a new mayor over there that is not so pro-Jewish in Israel. So lots of people are moving to Miami. The question is, what's going to happen next year, right? With school to the kids, business, where should we live? We're going to rent, we're going to buy. So we have lots of questions, especially this group with this age, lots of new beginning. Lots of new beginning. I think that, I don't know if everyone, but for sure 95% of you guys in this room looking for your soulmate, looking for someone to build your life with. And that's a new beginning, and that's difficult because you don't know what's good for you. You don't even know who you are to begin with. Same thing with business. Obviously, some people try already, start, if it's a different kind of financial opportunity, real estate, selling cars, it's different kind of services. But still, it's a new beginning. You ask yourself, what should I do? Where I see myself in 5 years? There's lots of questions. And for those questions, before we start answering ourselves what we want to do, there's another question. How we feel when we're trying to do something, we want to do something, and it doesn't work. Ever happened to you? We're trying to do something, and it doesn't work for you? Yeah? You want to give us an example?
Yeah, like if I fail a test or something.
You fail a test, so you try, you learn, assume that you learn. Can I give you the benefits of the doubt?
Yeah.
And actually you have a face like you're learning good. So anyway, so you learn, and then you fail the test. Why? Whatever, you were tired, you forgot, it was not what you learned. And you're disappointed of yourself. You're like in a bad mood. Obviously, we're Jewish, we're blaming everyone else, the teacher, the friends, the test. But inside, deep down, we feel disappointed of ourselves. We had an opportunity, wanted to do something, it's not happening. Same thing with business, right? Avia, consciousness, calling people. You make a phone call, right? And you're giving your pitch. Hey, good morning, Sarah. Blah, 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 boom, you're giving it with fire, with energy, with passion. And then the guy's like, wrong number. So you feel stupid. Why? Because he let you actually talk for 10 minutes. I love doing that, by the way. People are calling me, let him talk, let him take it out, feel good about himself. And then I'm like, okay, thank you so much. I had a free 10 minutes, I didn't know what to do. Thank you for solving it for me. Call the next number. And I will tell you why I'm doing that. Why I'm doing it. Because you need to get few no's before you get the yes. This is life, this is reality. It's almost impossible that the first woman, the first man you meet, getting married, the first job, you're gonna just stick to it for the rest of your life. The first guy you're talking is gonna be your customer. It's almost impossible. Why it's impossible? For three reasons. Reason number one, because you know what you're doing. First call, you know what you're saying. Maybe you have a pitch, maybe someone wrote something, maybe ChatGPT is helping you put things together, but you know what you're saying. Number one, and they feel it. Number two, it's not about you necessarily don't know what you're doing, you don't believe yourself because you never did it before. So if you don't believe in yourself, the guy you're talking to, smell it, feel it, get the vibe, the energy. He knows, you're not sure about what you're doing, I'm not gonna do business with you. Same thing by the way you're dating. If you're not sure about yourself, you want to get married, you're serious about this relationship, what do you think she's going to feel? Same vibe. You're not serious. So she's going to let you pay, but then you're going to go. Right? So the thing is that number one, we're not sure what to do. Number two, we don't really believe in ourselves. We don't trust ourselves. And number three, statistics, like basically in our Kadosh Baruch Hu, statistically, basically Hashem is telling us, you know what? Things cannot be so easy because I want you to keep trying. Why? So you can improve yourself. So even if you believe in yourself, and even if you know what you're doing, I still want you to be better, right? So basically, when you get the no, it's for your own benefit. When you fail one test, it's for your own benefit. I actually mentioned a story from the Lubavitcher Rebbe that was Shiur in Talmud, in Shalom and Aliyah, Bezat Hashem. And one time there was a lady who came to ask bracha from the Rebbe and says, hey, please give me bracha for good life, da, 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 da. So the Rebbe is giving her the bracha and the dollar, and then she's living 770, and she's taking the steps down, and she falls on the street, like literally on the steps over there. So she's embarrassed, everyone is looking at her, she's on the floor, she's getting up, going back inside, screaming at the Rebbe. That's blessing you gave me, that's kind of bracha you gave me. You blessed me, and the first thing that happened to me, I'm falling down on the floor. So the Rebbe is looking at her, with his blue eyes, face like running, and said, hey, I never gave you bracha that you're not going to fall down. I gave you bracha that you're falling down, you'll be able to get back up. And you fall down, you get back up, you fall down, you get, that's the song that every time that I'm giving this story, I'm like in my head. Why? Because it's so true. The blessing is not nothing gonna happen to you. We're not angels. This is not a movie, this is not illusion, this is reality. This is life. This is, something that we need to go through. We need to face those challenges. So the blessing is not, you're not gonna fall, nothing gonna happen to you. No. The blessing is, it's going to happen to you, but you're going to be strong enough to pick it up, to face reality, to deal with those challenges and to become stronger, to become better, to improve yourself, to grow, to elevate yourself. In our parsha, there was two stories that have a contradiction, and I feel like this is talking to us. And I will show you the two stories that happen, and let's see how we can bring those stories to our reality. And why the Torah is sharing with us those stories. So, story number one is that the Jewish people are whining about the water. There's no water. Why there was no water? Because Miriam, in the merit of Miriam, we had what's called Be'er Miriam, the well of Miriam, and the Jewish people were able to drink water in the middle of the desert. Imagine. Any of you went to Dubai? So, they have lots of fake stuff over there, right? And they created all the fake islands, the fake clouds, the fake this. Crazy. They actually created, stuff like rivers, waterfalls, like from nowhere. I don't know how they're doing it. It's interesting because the Arabs actually believe that you can, with some spiritual power, can bring the rain or stop the rain. You know that actually in Iran, during the war, the 12-day war between Israel and Iran, I wanted to know what's going on, so I'm watching the news, but I can't just watch any news. Why? Reason number one, they're lying, right? As Trump is teaching us, fake news, right? So I'm not just going to watch any news. Number two, it's not appropriate to see what they're showing over there sometimes, Epes Pritzkes, as we call it. So I don't want to watch those things, right? So what I'm doing, I watch Iran International. It's actually a TV channel, the news of Iran. There's no woman over there, okay? Number two, they telling you, tachles, what's going on in Iran. From within, the real stuff, pictures, videos, people talking from Tehran, Shiraz. You actually, practice my Persian accent. Beautiful. So, one of the guys over there blame that the Jewish people did black magic in Iran during the 12 days war. And it's on TV. Like they believe in that we stopped the clouds and that's why they have no rain. And he brought a few things that it's not even conspiracy, it's like crazy. So he convinced me that we have power. So if I'm doing abracadabra, it's because of this guy. And by the way, abracadabra is in Hebrew. Ebra kadabera. I will create as I speak. By the way, this is our power. You create reality with words, right? God created the whole world with words. With the 10 sentences, God created everything. Light, rakia. That's what he said. We can do the same thing. This is the image of God. We, all of us, you guys, create your own reality with words. That's why it's important to have good thought, good diburim, right? מחשבות טובות, איי 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 דיבורים טובים, איי איי איי. Words are very important. With one word you can change reality. We know we spoke about it, it's actually written in the Torah, it's not like a fiction. The Torah is telling us, and if you remember the first 2 psukim of the Torah, בראשית ברא אלוהים את השמיים ואת הארץ, והארץ הייתה תוהו ובוהו וחושך על פני תהום, ורוח אלוהים מרחפת על פני המים. Spirit of God floating on the water. What exactly Spirit of God was doing on the water? So one guy told me it was actually in Jaco, and Spirit of God was surfing in Costa Rica. But actually the rabbis are teaching us, the Zohar talk about it, the Spirit of God is power of speech. The ability that we have to talk. Every word that we're saying, we're creating realities. Water is something that has no form, taste, color, structure, nothing. You can do with it whatever you want. And we drink with it everything we see around us. We have water inside. The table, the building, everything is with water. Water is source and sign of life. Water in Hebrew, it's mine, it's sichu, because you decide how it's going to be. And you write it mem yud mem. They refer to the word, it's acronym of machshava yotzeret metziut. Thought creates reality. That's why when we're drinking water, we're saying she'akol nehiya bidvaro. But it means everything's creating, it's becoming when we speak bidvaro. That's why in Hebrew, things, how you say things in Hebrew? Dvarim, what is dvarim? Diburim, words. Everything is a word. That's what we see. So, the story goes that God is telling Moshe Rabbeinu, please bring water to the Jewish people. Doing what? Go to the rock, not the rock, the actual, and speak to the rock. Speak to the rock and ask him to provide water. And instead of that, what Moshe is doing, you know the story? Any of you been there? Oh, you've been there?
Oh, no.
Oh, I asked you.
We were all there.
We all. What happened was that Moshe Rabbeinu, instead of talking to the rock, he hit the rock. Not one, twice. What happened next? Water came out, but Moshe Rabbeinu and his brother Aaron, they got a crazy punishment. You guys are not going to Eretz Israel. And you need to understand, that was the dream of Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu was living 120 years. When he was 80 years old, he went back to Egypt to take the Jews out of Egypt. 40 years, he's in desert doing what? Helping the Jews as a good leader to prepare themselves to go to Eretz Israel. And right before they're going there, and by the way, we calculate this week, we learned Rabbi Yeshua was a month before the Jewish people actually entered Eretz Israel, actually crossed To be accurate, 33 days exactly. Lamed Gimel. From the moment was Zayin Adar, 7th of Adar, when Moshe Rabbeinu passed away. 33 days later, on 10th of Nisan, the Jewish people crossed the river to Jordan. He missed that in 33 days. Imagine. Why? Because he hit the rock. Why hit the rock? Why he did something like that? And what was the big deal about it? Let's leave it for a second and talk about the second story. The second story in our parsha, talk about the snake. Remind me, I was living years ago in Mexico for a few months. I had family there, a family from South America. I was in Mexico, in a neighborhood where the Jewish people live, in Polanco. It was actually a very long street, wide street, we call Calle Massri. My last name is Massri, so I felt good over there, Calle Massri. And my neighbor was a crazy guy who served in the Mossad before, and he was the head of the security of the Israel embassy in Mexico. Crazy guy. So one time I went to his house to do Havdalah. We did Havdalah, a few guys together, and then in the middle of Havdalah, I see a snake. I don't remember what kind of snake, maybe 10 feet, okay, in the living room. Like a big one that can swallow deer, okay? And I'm in the middle, oh my God, in the middle of, I'm supposed to laugh, or when you do that, I'm crying, I'm like freaking out, what's going on? His name was Ron, I was just like, Ron, what's wrong with you? What's going on? And he's telling me, הוא אומר לי, אל תדאג, זה ציפי. Says, ציפי? Says, yeah, at first it's a female snake. How do you know? You ask him, how do you know if it's male snake or female snake? He told me, you throw a rock, אם הוא רץ, זה הוא, אם היא רצה, זה היא. It's only in Hebrew. But I was like, I don't understand what you're saying. And her name is Tzipi. Okay? That's name. So I told them, no, this is my pet. That's literally, the guy was, later on, by the way, he had a lion. Okay? Snake was not enough, he had a lion. People, just having dogs are not enough for them. They need more. So I remember that snake looking at you, you're afraid. You have something in the eyes. I don't know if you ever been in a zoo or in a place when you see those big snakes. They have something in their eyes. I don't know if it's hypnosis, but you cannot move. And by the way, they do it to animals. If you watch National Geographic, whatever, you see, they look on birds in the eyes on the tree, and you see the bird is falling down from the branch directly to the mouth of the snake. It's crazy. You see, they have something in their eyes. They're hypnotizing the animals, and from fear, they're just falling down. So the snake is looking at you, and you feel that you have a presence, And that's what happened to the Jewish people in the desert. There was lots of snakes over there who bite the Jewish people. They were afraid, they got sick obviously, and they came to Moshe Rabbeinu, and they said, Moshe, we need to do something about it. What was the solution? The solution was, God told Moshe Rabbeinu, you need to create a big statue of a snake, Nachash HaNechoshet, made of copper. Put the statue over there. People will look at the statue, and then they're just gonna be okay. How? The rabbis explained that when they look on the snake, they will look, up. They will remind themselves of God. They will do tshuva, and that's, how Hashem is going to cure them. So we see two stories in our parsha. One talk about taking the water out of the rock. Second story, looking at the snake. Both stories, we see crazy miracle. One story, we get water. Second story, we get cure from the snake. But there is difference. What's the difference between those two stories? One big difference. Any of you? Hitting the rock was a physical action. Moshe took the staff, the mateh, and he hit the rock twice. The snake was nothing physical. Everybody was just looking for something spiritual. What's the difference? What is the difference? So we spoke about the concept at the beginning. I asked you if you ever were trying to do something and you failed, how you feel about it. You feel bad, you feel miserable. You lose sometimes confidence with yourself. I actually spoke to a lady, was last week, I think it was an event. One of the ladies there, I spoke to her, and she told me, I used to be in her community, whatever, she doesn't live in the state. She used to give some classes and do things and everything, and she stopped. Why she stopped? Because she started working in a place, and the boss over there, whoever was in charge, was always like taking her down. So she quit, but she felt very bad, and she stopped giving classes anymore, she stopped organizing events, she stopped doing stuff. Why? Because she doesn't trust herself anymore. And that's happening a lot. When we want to do something, we know we can do it, but when you try and it's not going the way you want, you feel bad, and that's basically preventing you from doing more, from trying again. And sometimes we're trying to do something good, but the result is the opposite, like Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe trying to bring water to the Jewish people. That's what he's trying to do. And what happened? The opposite. That's what happened. You know how Moshe felt? Bad. Very bad. Imagine. But what really happened over there? What happened is that instead of talking, he was too aggressive, too strong. And the rabbis were teaching us that students, at the beginning, you need to give them the rules, but then if you want to talk to someone, you have to be nice, you have to understand them, you have to really get connected. And Moshe Rabbeinu at this point needed to help the Jewish people understand and talk and listen to each other, to themselves, and obviously to Hashem. But he hit the rock. That's what he did. It was about actions. What happened with the snake was something totally different. Totally different. I want to explain you that difference with a story. It's actually a true story, famous story. But we're going to see the lesson from this story. There was, I think it was in South Africa, there was a small village who had next to the jungle. Very small village, not so many families. And they had fire in that village. And unfortunately, all the houses and all the people who lived there, they died. The thing is, the one house was a baby over there, and he didn't die. He was sleeping in the one room that didn't born and was just by himself. Everyone else died. It was a small village. No one really came. Some people came to see what's going on. They said everyone is dead, and no one really did any kind of research, rescue, something. So that day, lots of monkeys came from the jungle next to this village. I think he was born. Monkeys came, and they saw this baby, and they raised that baby in the jungle. Crazy story. They took this baby, they taught him, how to eat and how to jump from tree to tree, from branch to branch, whatever. How to make some sound. You know how monkeys make sound? None of you know? Guys, we came from the monkeys, you better know. No, we didn't. Actually, the monkeys came from us. Bro, man, that's the truth. You know that the halacha says that if you see a monkey, you need to say bracha. What is the bracha that you say? Baruch Meshaneh Abriot. It means, bless God who changed people. Why? The story goes that when was doing Dora Plaga, the Tower of Babel, and Nimrod and all these people, they built a crazy tower to go against God. So what God did is split them to 70 nations, 70 languages, but not only that, he split the people to 3 different groups. One group remained people, human, the way we know. The second group, elephant, and the third group, monkeys. That's why Darwin got it all wrong. It's not, we came from the monkeys, they came from us. It's interesting, midrash. But this is the halacha. If you see a monkey, you say bracha. So I know that some people are going to look at each other and say, this bracha, don't. Only when you go to the zoo, guys. So there's another bracha to say on people. When you see someone nice, someone beautiful, there's bracha for that, right? Baruch shebara briot yafot be'olamo. Right? If you see a beautiful woman, only if she's your wife, you say this bracha.
Rabbi, it's a lot crazy game.
Yeah.
It's a lot crazy game.
Imagine. So obviously we need to appreciate what we see, right? That's the concept. Now the thing is that those monkeys, they raised this baby. That's what happened. And a few years later, It's a little kid, and he's jumping around, making noise. He's a monkey. One time there was a guy from America, he's going to this jungle, and he see a baby on the tree. He was like, could not believe it. Look at it again and again, and he's like, it's a little kid, I don't know, he was like 3-4 years old. Could not believe it. He took them. Like, hey, come with me. Obviously, this kid doesn't understand anything that's happening. He took the kid with him back to America, and he started to educate him and tell them how to see, how to walk, how to talk. You know, he was already a little bit of a grown-up. He was teaching him how to behave. And, you know, after a few months, he started talking, he started to express himself crazy. Now, they celebrate for him birthday. They didn't even know how old he was, this little kid. But they decided to celebrate his birthday the day that he was got rescued. So a year later, that day, they find him in the jungle. They're celebrating a little birthday for this kid. Putting a cake on the table. And the guy is telling him, I'm going to bring a knife and plate so you can cut the cake. Okay. He's going to the kitchen, coming back, he sees this little kid behaving like a monkey on the table. That's what he does. By the way, this is the sound he made. How I know? I don't. But anyway, something like that he did, and he jumped on the cake, and he's eating the cake, you know, with his finger, with his mouth, like a monkey. And this guy is like, what are you doing? You look like a monkey. I taught you the whole year. You sit down, you have fork and knife and plate and this. You jumping on the cake. Like, what's going on with you? So, this kid started crying and he say, I don't want to be here. Take me back to the jungle. I say, what? I don't want to be here. So many rules, so many things I need to follow. I want to go back to the jungle. I had a good time over there. No one told me anything. I was all day long jumping from one tree to another, eating bananas. That's it. I'm fine. Some people came to pictures of me. I'm okay. I don't need to be here. You're telling me how to eat the cake. Don't tell me how to eat my cake. So the guy is like, okay, come with me. Took them to the mirror, and he told them, what do you see in the mirror? I see you and I see myself. And we look the same, we look alike. He says, yes, we both look the same, almost the same. He says, do you understand? You're not a monkey. You grew up like a monkey. You got used to be a monkey, but you're not. You're human. And human behave like human. So therefore you need to talk, you need to walk, and you need to eat in a proper way. So you need to have manners and ethics. Because you're a human. And this kid is like, I get it. What happened in that moment, that whatever you cannot change with actions, you can change when you understand that you need to have a new state of mind, a new conscience. Because we can try changing our actions day after day in business, learning, dating, personal growth, trying to do different things. But if you don't change your identity, if you don't change your conscience, if you don't have a different state of mind, you're going to be the same monkey that you used to be before. That's it. Because you're doing different actions, but you're the same one as was before. Nothing is going to change. When God told Moshe Rabbeinu to hit the rock or to talk to the rock, he told them to speak to the rock. What was the idea behind? God cannot just do a miracle. God was trying to show the Jewish people that even rock can change. Even literally, a piece of rock, if you talk to him, if you educate him, if you teach him, can change. It's up to you. It's in your head. It's your brain. It's your mindset. If you decide that right now, the rock in front of you is going to bring water, you can do it. You're conscious. That's your main focus. Not the actions that you do, is what you think. Because actions are results of words. And words are results of thoughts. So God is telling Moshe Rabbeinu, I have a job for you. And this job is to teach the Jewish people that they have power. Their power is to change the way they see reality. So when they go to Israel, they're not going to go like slaves. They're not going to go with the slavery mentality of followers. They will go with this mindset that I am responsible for my actions, and I can create my own reality, and I'm the one that is in charge on my surroundings, and I can do it. We have a privilege to do it. We must do it. But he didn't. He hit the rock. You know why he hit the rock? Because he didn't believe in the Jewish people. He called them Shiur Amorim. He underestimated the power of the Jewish people. But let me tell you something. Leader is not someone that's forcing you to do something. Leader is someone that is influencing to do something. If you need to force someone, you're not a leader. You're a boss. By the way, there's a difference between leader and boss. Boss telling you what to do. Leader explaining you and showing you what's the best thing you're good at. What you can do. How you can use your potential. How you can bring your power, your talents, your skills to reality. How you can believe and trust yourself. Give you the ability to have a self-motivation. To grow even when he's not there. We mentioned the Rebbe. The Rebbe was kind of a leader who creates lots of leaders. That's a real leader. I don't tell you what to do. I teach you so you can do it yourself. Moshe Rabbeinu, he came and he hit the rock. And this is not a leader. This is someone who's hitting you and forcing you. And you know what happened to someone when you force them to do something? I grew up in Bnei Brak. Sometimes religion can be tough. When your parents or your rabbis or the people around you pushing you to do something that you don't like, that you don't want, forcing you, putting pressure on you, either the society where you learning, where you staying, and not everybody take it easy. And some people go against. Unfortunately, I have lots of friends who went, we call it OTD, off the derech. They have their own derech, but still, sometimes when you force someone to do something, he will go against you, will rebel, he will go, that's what you're saying, we'll do the opposite. I don't know if it happens to you, but sometimes I feel you're telling me something, purposely I will do the opposite. You want, ask, and ask nice and be polite. If you force, if you put pressure, if you're trying to do some kind of manipulation and play games, I will do the opposite. Why? Because we like to feel that we're making decisions. And you know why we like to feel that way? Because we have godly soul. And God gave us the power to make decisions. We don't like to feel that someone is forcing us. So a good leader is not someone who's forcing you. It's not someone that is hitting you on your head. It's someone that's showing you with words that you can bring water out of the rock. That's what you can do. With words. With good mindsets. With good vibes. With good energy. You can create whatever you want. And I'm telling you that, let's talk about dating, for example. That's something that everyone is doing, and it's important. You can be the best gentleman. I will talk to the men. You can pick it up, you can take her to a fancy place, open the door, close the door, pay, do all the sticky stuff. Be perfect, but when you're talking to her, you don't respect her. She starts to talk, you interrupt, you say something else. She's like, oh, you don't know what happened. Oh, this is what happened to you. You know what happened to me. You're like, you're not there. You're not listening. Okay? Those words, I don't want to say those words, how we calling those people. So, you're amazing. You're good looking. You're smart. You have money. You pick it up. You do this, that, and that. I promise you, if she's not happy, the way that you communicate, the vibe, she's not going to be there. Not going to be there. Why? But you did all the things on the list. Right? Because you don't know how to communicate, you don't know how to talk, you don't know how to respect. And that's something that words are more important than actions. In those cases. In other things, it's important to have actions. We're talking about business. I don't want people only talking, I want them to do things. Right? When we're talking about relationship, we're talking about connections between God and the Jewish people, between husband and wife, between parents and their kids, between friends, colleagues. We're talking about real feeling. That doesn't come as a result of healing, as a result of power and force. It comes as a result of emotions and creating reality as a result of good machshava. That's what happened with the snake. The snake, Moshe realized that it's not about doing a crazy miracle, healing someone. It's about making the Jewish people looking up. And when they look up, they will understand it's not the snake, it's you. You know, the moment that he hit you in your head, that if you, for example, you fail a test, it's not a teacher, it's not the university, it's not your friend, it's not your parent, it's you. You need to be responsible. And when you change your mindset, when you understand that you're responsible for the results of everything that is happening in your life, you will be the one to change it. Because if you blame other people, basically you're saying, I'm perfect, I will be the same, they need to change. What do you think? They're going to change? They're not going to change. They're not going to change. It's not going to happen. If you want to change something in your life, you're the only one that can change it. That's how we always say, the biggest enemy of ourselves is ourselves. That's what Moshe changed. He told them, guys, relax. There's a new concept we called mindfulness. That was the first time in history he had a whole retreat of group people in desert. I don't know if they took something before or not, but they were everybody over there on the floor with the carpets, without the carpets, flying on the carpets. I don't know if they stopped pink elephants on the air, but basically they were all chilling over there and practicing mindfulness, meditation, and doing what? Looking up, raising their eyes, and looking at the head of the snake and telling the snake, you trying to create fear? You trying to destroy me? You trying to bite me? Let me show you. And those people got cured. Because when they look at the snake, you know what they did? Physically, they didn't do anything. They were literally on the floor, just looking up. But they changed their personality, they changed their identity, they changed their state of mind, they changed their behavior, they changed their conscience, they changed everything they used to live, see, hear, and behave before. They're new people. And Moshe Rabbeinu realized, and that was the message that he gave to the Jewish people, it's not about the actions that you do, it's about who you are. Hitting the rock, it's easy. Looking in the eyes of the snake and understanding that he cannot do anything unless you're going to fall down from the tree. We are this little bird on the tree who's looking in the eyes of the snake. If you don't believe in yourself, if you think that you're nobody and you're going to fail, that's what's going to happen. Skydiving, free fall directly to the snake. But if you know there's nothing that he can do to you, because you're up in the game, and you're strong, and you're powerful, and you're talented, and you can do it, you're looking back in the eyes of the snake, and you're telling him, I'm the boss. And the Gemara is telling us, Lo anachash memit, ela achet memit. It's not the snake who's killing you, it's the sin who's killing you. What do you mean the sin is killing you? It's not about the snake, it's about you. And I don't know if you realize, but the gematria, the numerical value of snake, nachash in Hebrew. Any of you know what's the gematria? Nun? 358. Nice. Nun 50, Chet 8, Shin 300. Together 358. You know what else is 358? Mashiach. Mashiach is 358. Mashiach is the same gematria. Is the same numerical value as the snake. It means that in life you choose. It's going to be the snake, it's going to be the Yetzer Hara, the evil incarnation, the Samech Mem, the Sitra, the impurity, the temptation, the challenges, the difficulty, the darkness, the worst thing ever, or it's going to be Mashiach, light, unity, love, passion, hope, future, energy. It's up to us. It's the same thing, 358. My friend, it's up to us. We making decision, snake or Mashiach. But remember, there's one condition. Don't hit the rock. Don't hit the rock. Talk to the rock. You know who is the rock? We are the rock. Each one of us is the rock. Don't be strong. Don't be aggressive. And don't only think about the actions. Because what Hashem wants from you is Rahman Ali Babai. What Hashem wants from you is your heart. Mitzvot tzrichot kavana. When you do a mitzvah, you do it with passion, with love, with intention. That's a mitzvah all about. If you don't do it like that, it's a body without soul. It's like giving flowers without connection and love. It's meaningless. It's not the action that you do, it's what you feel about it. And in this parsha, we have those two stories that are teaching us when we're very materialistic, when we're very, very low, and it's all about hitting the rock, pushing, forcing ourselves on other people, on ourselves, or understanding that it's all in the hand, looking up to the eyes of the snake and getting killed by that. Remember, everyone, it's all about your state of mind. Make sure that your conscience is positive. Don't underestimate yourself. Don't be strong, and don't let anyone be honest with you, because you are the best person ever exist. Believe in yourself, trust yourself, you know you can do it. But make sure you have the right state of mind. Make sure you know how to think, not just how to act. Thank you everyone for listening. So special.
Guys, if you don't know